Hey everyone, this is Taylor Hamlin from History Forge, and I'm going to be showing you week 12 of my project-based learning classroom in a U.S. history class. And yeah, it's been a great week. We've really started getting deeper into our secondary sources, so students are starting to create questions now based on their topic. And it really is nice to see this. It's kind of getting to the point where we're actually interested in our projects, just because students are starting to see actually where things are going. And I'll help out with that more. Like next week, I'll make more connections. I'm going to try to find the students' mentors from like last year and just find the ways to help them out. So we're just going to go over and go over the week of what we did this last week. Let's see, it was Monday, November 5th. That was day 51 of our school calendar. We had a vocab test this last week, so we had them practice vocab for 10 minutes every other day. We started doing our book search again, so we started talking about actually finding books from our local library, and I want students to actually find a couple textbooks, or not textbooks, but novels, or just historical analysis that have been written into books for their projects, just because it adds that scholarly level to it. I have some books in my classroom too. In fact, I can do this. Aha, look at all the books. So, I have books too, and I've been sharing them with many students, but I'll continue to try to do so. I've had to order some books on Amazon actually, and I don't mind doing it. You know, it's my own money, but I use the books anyway. So, you know, these books will serve me for the rest of my time here. So I think it's an investment that's very much worth it. So we're doing secondary source challenge. The students who wrote the most secondary source analysis, they got to they're going to come to lunch with me. I'll pull them out of a class for like an hour, and I'll take them down to a local sandwich shop that's really good, and it's really nice because it's right next door to where I work. So I'll take them there, and yeah, it's just kind of be an enjoyable thing since they worked extra hard. And we did an identity lecture. We're starting to talk about American identity. We're working on that question I mentioned last week. The question is, what does it mean to be an American, and basically who belongs in America? Like, who deserves the rights and freedoms and liberties that Americans have? So I've been talking to kids about it, and I've been showing them through historical analysis of the American Revolution. So one of the things is we talked about our commonalities in America, like, you know, our culture, religion, speech, all these things. And then I said we have a common history too. We share the same historical stories, and that also bonds and unites us together. But many of our historical stories are very mythologized. Like, there's a lot of myth to them. And so we talked about George Washington and his myth, and so we really used that discussion. And I really should make a link here. I haven't wrote up my notes to link it, but I will do that later. Tuesday, we did a video lecture. Again, we're on the American Revolution, so we're talking about the beginnings of it, like why in the first place did the Americans revolt. So we're really getting into those things. I'm trying to not, so like, there's so many things I could focus on. You know, with 14, 13-year-olds, I'm really trying to focus more on the big ideas that they can understand, like American identity. Like, what does it mean to be an American? I think that's an idea that they can handle. So I'm not really focusing on, you know, the right to rebel against, like, unjust taxes. I feel like that's a pretty advanced concept. Or the fact that Americans were rebelling 20, 30 years before the actual American Revolution started. These are all really confusing concepts that I think can maybe be handled at the high school level or college, but right now I think it's important to find things that they can listen to. That way the history becomes a little less complicated for them and actually useful for them too. It actually will help them shape who they think they are and all these things. So that's what I really focus on. I have a video here that shows how to evaluate sources. Again, everything's in the video description. If you want to see these links, you should be able to get to them. And, you know, I have this on my YouTube site, so just look for the video that says evaluating secondary sources. I think it says student essays. I can even click on it actually just to show you. Should go to it. Yeah, there it goes. So this is just me in another video talking about it. It says evaluating secondary sources, student examples.
Hey everybody, this is
There I go. So check that out. It's going to be helpful. It just goes over exactly what these things should look like. Then I gave them more time to do their secondary source analysis. They have to do one of these a week. So the idea is they're a group of one. They have to have at least 4 secondary sources for their big project. You know, I challenged some students. I have 9 who did the challenge, and so 9 did more sources that I'm going to take to lunch with me. Big groups will obviously have more secondary sources, but the idea is they should have a lot. And we'll examine more as we go, but I'm only going to require them to have 4. And we spend an entire week trying to go over each one, talking about what a good analysis looks like, and really digging deep into it. Wednesday, we have more vocab, some reminders about book projects, secondary sources. One of my favorite things to do is a quick write. So it's like a writing challenge, basically free writing. I told the students in 10 minutes, how much can you write? And I actually had them write on notebook paper. I think it's sometimes good to switch it up between typing and actual physical writing. I think they'd need to do a little bit of both. And, it was awesome to see and show the kids, look at, in 10 minutes, a lot of you, wrote past a page. Many of you wrote past 200 words in 10 minutes, and it really just kind of empowers them and shows them, how much writing they can do. There is a secondary source analysis as well. We got more work time. I'm a big believer in giving work time in class. I'm not a huge proponent of homework. I don't really believe in it. I think kids should be able to get their stuff done in school and then go home and, then go do the things that we teach them to go do, like go be a good social citizen, go play sports, go, volunteer at your church, whatever. To me, that is a more worthwhile use of their time. But at the same time, if they don't get their stuff done, then, yeah, they have homework. They need to get it done. On Thursday, we talked about our second essay. Today was kind of screwy, though, because, today's Friday. It's why I'm wearing my green color for my local sports team. They made it to the state championship, and so I'm actually heading out here pretty soon. So we actually had to move the vocab test from Friday to Thursday. But if this was a regular week, we would have done a sourcing video. So I would have gone through those sourcing skills that I do. If you're ever interested in those things, again, my YouTube channel's got all those videos. But, it's really nice. We go through those videos, and it really does help students understand how to go through a source, what good research looks like, all those things. So we went through the second essay, talked about what it's going to take. We're answering that big discussion question, but we're finding primary sources. And I shouldn't even say finding. I printed them out and put them in my classroom. So really, the kids all have to do is analyze them, which is pretty nice. And then, Friday we would have done the test, and we had a second eval due. I checked that today, actually. Most students got it done, which is nice. And the next week will be another challenge. So, as the week is pretty stellar. Nothing really to complain about. This stage of the process for big projects, we're at that point where students are very much getting into their own ideas and their own project. And so my job is kind of just stepping out of the way and letting them do it. Sometimes I feel like I don't know what to do. Last year especially, when I first started doing this. But this year I've learned more of okay, I could work with, maybe a smaller group today. You start learning your place, basically. And if you see kids flying, let them fly. You don't need to constantly be interrupting them. If they can do it, you should let them. So that's pretty much it. Pretty short video today, so I hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy yourself. If you're in my school right now this year, go ahead and enjoy the Friday. If you're watching this video next year, hopefully the football team made it again. But yeah, you guys have a great day. Enjoy yourselves and take care. Bye.